The Nightingale is Jennifer Kent's sophomore effort after her brilliant directorial debut with The Babadook. And here she has done it again. She delivers without a doubt an unrelentingly brutal, deeply disturbing and emotionally draining piece of art. The Nightingale wrecked me. It emotionally wrecked me. I haven't been the same since I've watched it. It drained me, it got in my head, and honestly, I think that the film scarred me. Everything that you've heard about the film with people storming out in the first 20 minutes because of how brutal, disturbing, and unsettling the film is, it's all true. It's all of the above. This film is horrific in every way when it comes to its violence. The violence in this film is a culmination of the revenge aspect of the film, as well as the setting that the film takes place in. The deaths are as brutal as you can get, while the rape scenes are very, very hard to stomach. Jennifer Kent directs these rape scenes by putting us into a position of pain and helplessness, sometimes putting us into the POV of the abusers inflicting these disgusting acts of violence, so we can feel the disgust as we see these helpless women in pain not being able to fight back. While Jennifer Kent also directs these sequences with a lot of close-ups on the women's faces so we can feel and see the pain pouring out of their faces during these disgusting and unsettling moments. The violence in this film and the way it's directed, it really, really gets under your skin. But these cruel acts of violence, they aren't shock value or a product of exploitation. It isn't glamorized in Hollywood fashion, which is usually what happens with a typical revenge flick. The violence in this film is just brutally honest. We see how this violence affects the characters. The pain is experienced through perspective. It acts as a loss for the characters, not just in physical form, but mentally. And the film isn't just about its brutally disturbing violence, it's so much more than that. It packs so much weight, dramatically and thematically within its story, that makes the violence effective in this way, showing us the horrors of colonialism. Jennifer Kent delves into a part of mankind's history that people seem to just ignore. She sheds light on this part of history to show how fucked up humanity is, even reflecting it into today's world surrounding gender violence and racism. This is a story that needed to be told. And what keeps the movie so damn engaging is its emotional resonance with how these two marginalized characters, an Aboriginal man and an Irish woman, who share different cultural perspectives, find a connection together with the trauma that they share. Jennifer Kent doesn't rush their communion. Instead, she lets the distrust between them play at each other first, which creates quite a bit of comedic moments from the character Billy, providing levity to this heavy film. But as they start to see each other as equals, their empathy towards one another forges this endearing relationship that is constantly being built within the midst of their survival, their loss, their fear, and their pain, coming together to face their oppressors. They've both lost everything because of them. They realize that they only really have each other. That relationship growth and that character growth is emotionally investing. We grow onto them among their path of revenge and survival. These two characters are living in a world of horror that they can't escape. They are constantly getting confronted by these horrors during every waking hour. Even in Claire's dream, she can't escape that pain and that fear. The dream sequences are a showcase of that PTSD. It shows how that fear and that pain is draining her off of her sanity. These dream sequences act partly as a growth for the character to confront the men that did this to her. We see how this pain, this loss, and this fear takes over these characters from the inside. This is a hauntingly beautiful exploration of grief and PTSD and how it consumes someone. All of this horror that the characters have to go through, it piles on more to this dread-induced feeling. And the fact that the film is beautifully shot in the Tasmanian landscape, the director and the cinematographer, they chose to shoot the film in Academy ratio to make you feel trapped in this experience. So you can feel and see every bit of a moment and every bit of emotion that Jennifer Kent wants you to endure. And also with the film's lengthy runtime, that adds to the emotionally draining endurance test. And because the stakes are so high with everything that is established involving the situation and the setting that these characters are in, it creates this unnerving tension around every corner where you fear for these characters constantly. Jennifer Kent doesn't let you take a breath until the final moments. But even then, the events that have taken place in this movie, they still linger in the mind long after the credits roll. My only issue with the film is that you can start to feel the runtime towards the last half an hour, because there's this repetitiveness going on with confrontation, then escape, then confrontation, then escape. But the repetitiveness isn't a major problem because it's in favor of character. And as well as that, the way that the film concludes is just hauntingly poetic. This film's journey and destination is quite an experience. An experience I don't think I could go through again. I mean, I could, but I'd have to mentally prepare myself for quite a while to revisit this, because it is a tough watch. But I loved it. I loved what Jennifer Kent did with this movie. She delivers a new kind of scary. And because of the film's emotional resonance with the characters on this journey as they grow together through their experiences of pain, fear, and loss, trying to survive by dealing with the horrors of this world, while also having some of the most brutal, disturbing, and unsettling violence I've ever seen on screen, that is why The Nightingale emotionally wrecked me. Okie dokie, guacamole. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And if you guys like this video and you want to see more, click subscribe and I'll see you later.